So the burning question is, were we actually friends at all? That's the question. And I'm like, come on, fruit cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag in all its forms. What cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop Miami. This is season 2, episode 4. And like I said, the burning question was, were we ever actually friends at all? And it just kept coming up. It kept coming up. Were we friends at all? First things first, Shay and Amara have a little sit down. And in that sit down, Shay ends up telling Amara that Bobby Lights basically told her JoJo been running around talking crap on her. Smiling in her face and talking crap the whole time. You know, as we've been going through this season, JoJo is just not coming out in such a good light. It's always something, and JoJo's name is always attached. You ever notice that lately? I'm like, I don't know about you, JoJo. You are busy, 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 girl. Making sure you get camera time, but it's bad camera time. You coming off looking real, real suspect. Anyway, in the midst of that, Shay also shares that she heard that JoJo was messing around with Pleasure. In the midst of that, she thought that her and JoJo were really good friends. And she broke the girl code. So she'll appreciate that very much because Pleasure was hers. That was her man, and ain't no girlfriend of hers got no business sleeping with her ex-man. Now, I have very strong feelings about that little stuff. I don't play them little games. I don't play them little games. I don't sleep with any of my friends' exes. I don't sleep with any of their currents. I don't get into that. I know people get into that little thing and they get to about, oh, well, it's been so and so and so amount of time. Bitch, I wouldn't care how long it's been, bitch. If I laid with him, don't you lay with him. I wouldn't give a fuck if it was 30 years ago. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. Later on, we see Super Cindy again, and she's doing an interview with Trina, and Trina has actually taken and brought Bobby Lights along with her. He's shadowing her, and we found out that Bobby's been doing a lot of little things with Trina. It's basically the way he wanted things to be in the beginning, like last season, when he was longing that Trina would let him shadow her and get him bookings, and he's been opening for her and different things like that. So everything's pretty much going the way he wanted it to go, except for she hasn't signed him. She has a label and she has not signed him. He kind of feels a little strung along. It's like that dangling carrot thing. And I kind of seen it and I was like, well, I mean, if he's good enough to open for you, Trina, and he's shadowing you and all these things, what is the big deal about signing him? Talking about you're trying to see if he's serious. The first time you booked him, bitch, you knew he was serious. So I'm not buying that. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what Trina's game plan is or what angle she's working, but it seems a little weird to me. But whatever, we'll work with it. Later on, we see Pleasure, Chaotic, and Young Hollywood, the thirsty bunch. Amara's name comes up. Chaotic, remember how in love he was with Joy? Same thing now with Amara. I said, I think you just a little thirsty, a little dirty. I think that's what's going on with you. You a little thirsty, but what you need to do is spend a little time with a bar of soap, honey, before you try to spend time with Joy or Amara. Just a bar of soap. Get to know a bar of soap, honey. But anyway, Young Hollywood decides, probably time that he apologizes to Amara because things got all out of whack last year, got all out of context, and Pleasure said, well, did you actually smash Amara? And he said no. He said, I didn't mean for it all to come out like that. It did, and I know I probably owe her an apology. No, ain't no probably. You do owe her an apology, you freak. So he said, I'm going to do a peace offer. I'm going to invite her to a function I'm having. I'm being honored, and I'm going to invite her to come. And she actually did end up coming to the function, and it was ridiculous. Chaotic was all over her, all in her face, and she was being a real good sport about it, you know. And then he just kept on. She was like, "Oh, Joe, get away from me, honey." And later on, she ended up talking to young Hollywood. He apologized. She accepted his apology, and then he said, "You know, I'm so glad that we could be on a better thing now. So, like, possibly maybe we could get in the studio sometime or hang out sometime." She was like, "Honey, one thing at a time. Calm down. Calm down, sugar. Anybody said I was doing all that with you." I just kind of laughed at that. We end up seeing Amara have a little conversation with JoJo. Amara never approached the fact that she heard that JoJo was talking smack on her. She just left that alone. But she did talk to her about the whole Shay thing. And JoJo's attitude was way left. Fuck her. I don't owe her nothing. Me and her ain't friends all like that. This, that, thing, and the real left. Then she claims that she told Shay something in confidence and Shay told somebody else. But she never said what. She never said what. I said, do I believe you, JoJo? For some reason, I don't. But it's like, okay, because you tell all your business, generally. You ain't said nothing. I think this is some made-up shit, but okay, whatever. Amara told her, you know, my mom's going to have a little thing. I'm having a little thing for my mom. We're going to get all together and, like big girls, we're going to settle this out and fix this. I said, well, that's good. Now, that's good shit there. In the midst of all that going on, Trina gets down with two of her business partners. She's talking to them. Trina has a sunglass line and all of that. And in the midst of this, here we go again, hearing about how that damn Alvin is not doing all the things that he's supposed to do. You all remember Alvin. Alvin was the assistant to Trina who was having all the problems with Bobby. Him and Bobby kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she also mentioned it to Bobby. And I don't know why she would mention it to Bobby, because, you know, Bobby and Alvin got all that bad history, but she mentioned it to him. And, you know, Bobby didn't have nothing nice to say. So I said, okay, so what's up with Alvin? Come to find out, Alvin is like doing side deals, trying to do side deals, trying to get his own fashion line started and some other little business ventures done. And I said, oh, Alvin, this doesn't look good, because you're basically going behind Trina's back trying to use her contacts to get something to pop off of your own. Now, the proper way to actually do that would actually be to talk to Trina. And it probably would be easier if you just talk to Trina, and then Trina could approach her business partner, and they probably would come through with a better deal for you if Trina's on board, you know, and Trina's vouching for you. But no, you are slipping and sliding doing that. And then the bad thing about it is, yeah, maybe you want to keep your business to yourself, but then you're not even getting done with the things that you're supposed to be getting done with Trina. For Trina, it just seems kind of like it starts to look like you're trying to sabotage her business and build your own business. So it just doesn't look good. It's just not a good look at all. So I was like, oh, I don't like that. That's just terrible. You just coming out looking bad there. But they were like, well, no, we're not going to do any business with them. You know, this, that, thing, and the other. So now I said, oh, shit. So that just was bad. That was bad. Then we have a little meeting with Bobby, Shay, and Tip. They sit down. Bobby is actually telling them, they're at the pool. Bobby's telling them, you know, there's this new label who actually want me, and they've made me an offer, and I'm not sure whether or not I want to sign. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, Bobby, ain't you with Trina? She's like, no, I'm not actually with Trina. I'm doing things with Trina, but I'm not signed to Trina. And I'm tired of kind of waiting. And they're offering me, you know, and they're like, yeah, but Bobby, you got to weigh it all out there. You know what I mean? You want to be signed with Trina, but Trina is getting you bookings, you know, and she's taking you places, you're meeting people, you're networking and all this. All of that is going to stop. And if this new place can't actually provide those things for you, which they probably can't because they're brand new. They just try to get their foot in the door too. You're probably going to screw yourself. And you know Trina can get you where you want to go because she's already there. You know, she has all the connects. And I'm like, I understand their point. I understand his point as well. How much of Trina's ass do I choose to kiss to get there? Because that seems to be always the thing when it comes to him and Trina. It's always this ass kissing fest. I'm like, ugh, between a rock and a hard place. And he said, well, the one thing I don't need is I don't need anybody running back to Trina and doing that and fucking it up if I don't choose to. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And they were like, okay, so hopefully they'll shut their mouths. You know what I mean? But they really did. They were cool. They had his best interest at hand. But, you know, loose lips sink ships, honey. Anyway, after that, we see Shay go and have a little conversation with her new best friend. Yeah. Little big baby blue, honey. And they get to talk about the whole pleasure thing, and Shay is so incredibly shady. When she told him, she said, you know pleasure don't fuck with y'all as a group. He only comes out, he'll deal with y'all when it has to do with some money. But other than that, he ain't interested in y'all. He feel like he don't need y'all and he don't fuck with y'all. I said, Shay, did you have to tell him that in those words? I mean, it's the truth. But damn, Shay. And then she tells him, listen, I'm going to invite you to come with me to Amara's little thing because you could be the little angel on my shoulder that'll say, no, Shay, don't do that, Shay. You know, he's telling her the whole thing. And he's laughing. He's like, I know good and well pleasure ain't think about JoJo. You know, this, that, thing, and the other. Laughed about that. So he's like, okay, I'll go. No problem. So then after that, we see Trina have a meeting with all her people. Everybody. Alvin included. Listen. She went around that room, baby, and when I tell you she laid these people's ass out, every member of her team was getting laid out about what they did and what they hadn't done and how they hadn't been on their shit. I was like, all right, Trina. She was like leaving no stone unturned. She was letting their asses have it. Everybody in that meeting sat there and took their licks and was like, okay, no problem. This is my plan to make it better. This, that, thing, and the other, on and on. Everybody, management, business, money, finance, all of it. She was letting them have it. She get to Alvin. Not Alvin. Alvin gonna stand flat-footed trying to talk shit. All back-talking her and back and forth. And then she had to just put his shit out there. So you trying to build business on my back and carry on. You got sneaky moves that ain't never gonna happen. Because trust me, how you gonna try to put together business with my business partner and then I don't know nothing about it and then you ain't taking care of my business, Mr. Assistant. You're doing so much but ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. I said, oh, he's looking real crazy. Then he gonna try to backtalk her. So I'll meet you at the top. I don't see why it's any of your business. She's like, well, it's not gonna be your business either because it's not gonna happen. I said, oh, see. Psh. I was like, wow, he's making a fool of himself. And he keeps going back and forth, back and forth. She says, and then did you tell so-and-so that you were my creative director? He said, well, that's how I feel. I feel like I was the creative director. She said, you feel like what did you create? Who did you work with that's on the creative team? You are an assistant and you're not even good at that. And as a matter of fact, you're not nothing. You're out of here. Get out. You're fired. You're fired. Yeah, all that shit you're talking, whatever. You're fired. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I said, oh, damn, he's still talking shit going out the door. I'm like, you literally got nothing, dude. You ain't even got a leg to stand on. The 2 little business deals you tried to make, that's gone. And you still trying to talk shit. I said, child, get on out of here, child. Dumbass. You should have took your licks like everybody else and just hushed. Mess. Then we see Jessie Woo. She's talking to some producers. Now, I've been fussing since Love and Hip Hop, since I've been watching it. When are we ever going to get to see the real, the backside of it, the producers and the money and when we're going to see that side of it. And Mona, I'll give you that you showed us some of it, but girl, there's pieces of that story that's missing. There was a conversation between Jessie Woo and 2 producers. One of them was her friend, and the other was his business partner. But then they had this whole conversation going on, and there was pieces missing, so you couldn't really decide who was right and who was wrong. It's a song, and she sang on the song. She created verses for the song. She even took the song to another level and did a whole Creole part to the song, and which was something that they couldn't do, you know. And just all of this. And then she's like, well, I need a copy of the song. They're like, no. And she's like, well, wait a minute. So can I just buy the beat, buy the song from you right now? They're like, sure, if you can buy it right now. She's like, well, I mean, let's talk. He's like, you got $35,000. $35,000. I said, child, that song wasn't worth $3,500. Let's alone $35,000. She was like, what? So they're going back and forth. And I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know everything about the music business, but I do know when it comes to artists and producers, there's different ways to actually do the money. And, sometimes people want their money on the front end. Sometimes they make an agreement to get it on the back end. And all of this, and then distribution deals and things of that nature. None of that was being talked about. So there's too much missing from the conversation to even say who's right and who's wrong. I just was like, this is just some made-up storyline shit for Jessie Woo, I guess. I said, whatever. I'm not going to put too much time into it. They ain't going to give me no headache with this bullshit. I said, okay, fine, Jessie. Okay, girl, go cry a little bit. Boo. Insane. Okay, moving on. So let's go on down to Amara's mother's event, child. Child, listen. Shay had this very interesting wig on. It was like red and black. The color was gorgeous. And I'm liking Shay in this red hair. Lil Ugly looks good with this red hair. I like this red hair with her. But I see what they were going for with the wig. It's supposed to look like this wet look or partially wet look, like it's moosed. With like the little part and then slick back. But it wasn't done. See, something like that has to be done because it's supposed to look effortless. And it needs to be done like literally not one piece of hair out of place. It has to be perfect to be pulled off. And something just wasn't right. Something was too puffy or something, and then some parts was too dry. It just wasn't right, but I see where they were going, and I was like, I like what they were going for, but they didn't achieve it. Now, then I didn't get this. Why do you have on a see-through jogging suit? Just looked funky. It just looked funky to me. I was like, I don't get it. Makeup was real nice. She looked real nice. Other than that, I was like, I just don't get it. But anyway, she comes in, baby. The first thing she says, she looks, because Pleasure and JoJo are already there sitting at the table. They're eating empanadas. And she says, don't y'all look stupid, especially you. And they get to going back and forth right away, her and JoJo, honey. And JoJo saying, what, this, that, thing, and the other. And she said, so I don't understand what I'm looking at right now. And JoJo's like, what do you mean? Bitch, I don't owe you nothing. We ain't friends all like that, bitch. We wasn't friends all like that. She said, okay, so I'm looking at a whore right now is what I'm looking at. I wasn't sure if it was a hoe I was looking at, but now I know I'm looking at an old disrespectful ass hoe right now. I said, oh, here we go. They going back and forth. Next thing we know, here go JoJo doing what JoJo do. She throws food at her. I said, here you go with this throwing this food again, girl. Cornball. So they separate them up and all of this. Then, I'm going to tell you who really turned this whole situation out was Amara Negro. They're sitting there. Pleasure's over there trying to be the shit, and he's being shady, and he's being disrespectful. And I'm like, God damn it, Shay, he's making you look like a fool. She's sitting there and he's saying to her, so you still in love with me? Is that it? Is that it? I said, oh, I'd have no motherfucker sit in my face and talk to me like that. Because even if I was, which she is, I would punch him in his eye for sitting there trying to embarrass me. You trying to talk to me like you the shit on film? I would have socked him in his eye. And she's sitting there and he gonna say, is that it? Do you still love me? And she said, I said, girl, you supposed to tell him to kiss your ass right now, even if you don't mean it. But Amara broke it up, baby. Amara looked at JoJo and said, you look like a fool right now. And JoJo's like, what? She said, you look like a damn fool. You've been telling me he's your man. He ain't even claiming you. He's sitting over there with her, consoling her, trying to make sure she stay calm, and you're over here with me. You look foolish right now, and I'm going to tell you what, don't ever bring him up to me again. I said, oh. Amara broke it down, and JoJo was looking crazy, and you can see JoJo's wheels spinning, because she felt stupid. She knew everything that Amara was saying was the truth. I said, girl, you are looking like a fool out here. Just foolish. And then that little girl code thing, it really does exist. And you did look like a hoe. And you look real stupid right now. Girl, just tacky. Real tacky, Miss JoJo. But anyway, we'll see you all next week, honey, and see where this all goes. Later.